Hello Year 3, it's Miss Palmley again. I hope you're all doing well and you've been working really hard. Now I know some of you have been finding it really tricky to be motivated for your learning, which I can understand. It's hard being at home and not being at school, but the work I have been seeing, I've been so impressed, and I've been receiving lots more photos from people this week, which I have put onto the class webpage under photos, so you can have a look and see what some of you have been getting up to. As I've said before, if you're really struggling with any of your work, you just have to email me on the class email address or on Purple Mash, and I will promise to help you as best as I can. If you are finding things difficult, also, you can ask people around you at home if you've got any brothers or sisters for any help. And remember to be kind to yourself as well. If you've done some work and feel like you need a rest, then do that. Go for a walk, play a game with somebody, and then try coming back to your learning. So, we're on chapter 3 now, and let's find out what Hilda has been getting up to this time. So this chapter is called Hilda Has a Sticky Time. Hilda's friends in the farmyard took a great interest in her at breakfast time. "That's right, Hilda. Have a good breakfast," said Flo, the oldest ten in the farmyard. "You'll need to keep your pecker up." "You can have some of my grain if you like," offered little Pullet shyly. "I can't eat any more." "It's all right, thank you, Mary," said Hilda. "I couldn't eat any more myself." "Well, I must be going." She fluffed out her feathers and started towards the gate. "Can I come with you, please, Hilda?" begged Mary, hopping along beside her. "No, Mary, it's too far for you, and anyway, it's difficult enough just looking after myself. I'll tell you about it when I come back. Goodbye." Hilda squeezed under the gate and set off down the lane. The others crowded round the gate and watched her go. "Good luck, Hilda," they called. "Give our love to your auntie." "I will," Hilda called back. It was very nice of them to see her off like that. She felt very happy and hopeful in this morning. Half an hour later she did not feel anything of the kind. She had walked right through the village and past the place where the fire engine had been the day before. But still, no lift. But as she came towards the next bend in the road, Hilda lifted her head and sniffed. There was a strong, hot smell in the air. She rather liked it. Then, when she rounded the corner, she forgot about the smell. There was something moving slowly along by the edge of the road. Something that she could ride on. Hilda had never seen anything quite like this before. It was rather like a tractor, and it had a huge roller at the front and a little chimney at the top with dirty smoke coming out of it. It was moving very slowly, but after a feather-raising ride on the fire engine, this seemed to Hilda not to be a bad thing. She hopped up. The driver saw her. "Hey, what do you want? Shoo!" he shouted. Hilda pretended to be deaf. She stayed perched on the roof as if she had grown there. "All right, stay there, you cheeky little bird. I'll take you home for my lunch. You'll do very nicely with a bit of stuffing." The driver chuckled and turned back to his wheel. Hilda felt a little alarmed at this, but she did not move. The man had a nice, kindly red face. She was sure he did not really mean it. Well, almost sure. What was important was to get to Much Wallop. It was going to take a long time, though Hilda had not known anything that could have moved as slowly as this. She could have tried walking faster, only her feet were so tired. Still, she would have a little rest. She closed her eyes and dozed off. When she opened her eyes, they were going the wrong way. Suddenly Hilda realised what was happening. They were going up and down over the same bit of road. "Oh, silly me," chuckled Hilda. "That's what the roller must be for. It's for spreading and flattening the tar to mend the road. Well, I shan't waste any more time here. I shall have to find another lift." She went back to the back of the roof and jumped straight down into the road. Then the terrible thing happened. Hilda could not move. Her feet were stuck. She wriggled and tugged, but it was no good. She was stuck fast in the wet tar. She started to peck at the tar around her feet to see if she could free them. This was a silly thing to do, as she soon realised. Her beak became stuck together with tar. The steamroller had turned round and was coming back, and she could not open her beak to warn the driver that she was there. She could not manage the tiniest squawk, and the giant roller was coming nearer and nearer. Would the driver see her? Hilda began to flap her wings to try to attract his attention. If he did not see her, well, he would get his chicken dinner after all, and Hilda was sure he would worry. He did see her. He stopped the roller and climbed down, stepping carefully along the edge of the tar. "Well, you've got yourself into a fine pickle, haven't you?" he said, looking down at her. Hilda hung her head in shame. "I dunno, some birds," he said, shaking his head. "Well, I'll have to get you out somehow. Wait a mo." He stumped off to the roller and came back with a trowel. "I'll have to dig you out," he said, "and a fine mess that will make of my lovely flat road. You don't deserve to be rescued, my lady." Hilda kept very still while he eased the trowel round her feet and prized them out of the tar. Her claws were all stuck up with it. "Coy, you are a mess. There's only one thing to do with you." He lifted her up gently and carried her back to the roller. He tucked her under his arm while he poured some paraffin from a big can into his baccy tin and set it on the step. "There now," he said, standing Hilda in it. "You stand in that for a while. That should do the trick. Now let's look at this beak. You'd better dip that in too. It won't taste very nice, but it's the best way." Hilda looked down at the paraffin round her ankles and shuddered. Then, brave little bird that she was, she shut her eyes, bent down and plunged her beak in. "There's a good girl," said the driver with admiration. "That's enough now. Let's see." He took Hilda's beak in his hands and gently pulled it apart. Then he rubbed it with a paraffin rag. Until it was quite free from tar. Hilda clucked quietly in her throat. The driver lifted Hilda onto his lap and dried her feet thoroughly. "There you are, you little troublesome little baggage. You'd better run along home before I change my mind about that chicken dinner. Go on, shoot." He set her down and shooed her back along the road to Little Dollop. Then he took a trowelful of tar and went back to fill in the holes that Hilda's feet had made in the new road. When he was safely out of the way, Hilda crept back. He had been very nice to her, and she wanted to leave him a present. That done, she set off home. When the driver came back, he found a nice brown egg beside his baccy tin. "Well, there's a thing," he said, looking down the road after her. "Thank you, little lady." The little lady was teased dreadfully when she got home. "Back already, Hilda? That was a short visit. Oh, Hilda, you smell awful. Go and have a bath in the horse trough, for goodness sake." Hilda did have a bath in the horse trough, but paraffin is a very clingy sort of smell, and the others went on being very rude. "Never mind," said little Mary coaxingly. "It'll soon wear off." "Yes," said Hilda, "and you know, there's one good thing about it. I am learning what not to get a lift on, and that's very useful." So next week we'll find out what happens when Hilda goes to tea. So keep working hard, keep sending me photographs of your learning. Make sure you are reading your home learning overview carefully, because some tasks might be on Purple Mash, some tasks you may have to complete on pieces of paper, handwriting. You can send photos to me, or you can upload them straight onto the Purple Mash blog. Now, I look forward to seeing more work soon and hope you enjoy the weekend. Bye-bye.